Game one between the Raptors and Cavs, complete dominance from Cleveland. Early fourth here, off the break, pass to Donovan Mitchell. Pump fakes and throws down the slam. Next, Cleveland, possession, Mitchell driving. Layup is no good, so he just gets his own rebound, lays it home, and the Cavaliers go on to win it 126-113 from Cleveland. For much more on this game one, let's go ahead and welcome in our own John Gonzalez. John, let's go ahead and start with the Cavs, who get it done in dominant fashion behind Donovan Mitchell. This was his 9th straight game one with more than 30 points. That extends his NBA record, making it the longest streak in playoff history. What impressed you most about his performance?
Yeah, he always shows up to start a series, right? I mean, Donovan Mitchell was fantastic tonight, goes for 32 points. The Raptors really had no answer for him, which is a little surprising because the Raptors are a pretty good defensive team. They were 5th in defensive rating this season. And the Cavs are sort of the inverse. They're not a very good defensive team, but they are an excellent offensive team, and they're at home. Now, the question for the Cavs was really, what's this lineup look like? They haven't had a ton of time together. They played 41 different lineups this season. 5 other teams have done that, and none of those are playoff teams. So they're a little unsure about what they were going to get from this unit, and they really needed Donovan Mitchell to step up, and he absolutely did, as did James Harden and Evan Mobley. And then Jared Allen, who has been dealing with a knee injury, he goes for 27 minutes. So I think if you're Kenny Atkinson and you look at this first game, you're thinking, all right, pretty close between us and the Raptors. They didn't beat the Raptors, Jordan, all season during the regular season, and then they come out and just absolutely maul them in game one. You're feeling pretty good about it.
You brought up the question surrounding this Cavaliers team as a whole heading into the playoffs and what others were saying, but what were your takeaways from this team's performance as a whole?
Yeah, if I'm the Cavs, I mean, look, at the trade deadline, they went and decided to shake things up, right? Because they come into this season with aspirations of definitely improving on what happened last year. Last year, they're at the top of the Eastern Conference all season during the regular season. Then they go into the playoffs and they get bounced in the second round by those plucky Indiana Pacers, right? Well, that's not where they wanted to be. And then they come in this year and they're thinking, all right, now they thought the Celtics were going to take a step back. Indiana is off the board because of what happened with Tyrese Halliburton's Achilles. And they thought they were just going to run through the Eastern Conference. That wasn't the case either. They got off to a slow start, but they still have aspirations of making the Eastern Conference Finals or beyond. So this is one of those teams that really needs to make a deep run in the postseason. Otherwise, there could be off-season changes. But you got to start somewhere, and today was a good start by handling the Raptors. Again, a team that they had not beat during the regular season, but beat really easily today.
As for the Raptors, you mentioned they just had no answer for Donovan Mitchell today. What do they need to do to bounce back in Game 2 come Monday and attempt to contain him?
Yeah, not only no answer for Donovan Mitchell, but really no answer offensively. So we'll start with Donovan Mitchell. I mean, yeah, so you got to figure out a way to slow that guy down. Now, that's easier said than done, especially when he's got James Harden in the backcourt with him, and those two are a 1-2 punch that is awfully difficult to deal with. That's the reason why the Cavaliers went and made that trade at the deadline, where they ended up getting older by trading 26-year-old Darius Garland for 36-year-old James Harden, but they figured that was a net win because they're trying to win now, and certainly it was in this game. But then offensively, the Raptors got to figure something out here because, look, Scotty Barnes had a pretty good game offensively, and R.J. Barrett went for 24 points. They didn't have Emmanuel Quickley, which does not help. But the thing that I'm looking at here, and the guy that I'm singling out, is Brandon Ingram, because if Scotty Barnes is your best player, Brandon Ingram's supposed to be the 1A, or you could reverse that and make Brandon Ingram your 1 and Scotty Barnes your 1A, but only one of those guys came to show up today. And Brandon Ingram goes for 17 points. He only took 9 shots. He was 0 for 1 from deep. He was 7 for 10 from the line. That is not good enough. If you're Brandon Ingram, you come into this team and you're looking to be a leader and one of the best players on the Raptors, a Raptors team that is grossly overpaid for a 5 seed, you got to show up and do more than just shoot 9 shots and score 17 points.
The Raptors have now lost 11 straight playoff games against Cleveland. As we button this up, Cleveland obviously gets it done in Game 1. You actually have the Cavs going on to win this series. But how much faith do you have in this team to make a pretty deep run?
Not much, because I have them winning this series, but I don't have them advancing past the second round where they would ostensibly face the Detroit Pistons, who have been atop of the Eastern Conference all season long. And that's a problem for the Cavs, right? Because as we mentioned, they really do need to make a deep run. They need to, I think it's Eastern Conference Finals at a minimum. Otherwise, you're looking at a really difficult offseason where all of a sudden, look, Donovan Mitchell, offseason after next, is going to be a free agent. Do they all of a sudden unplug, say, Evan Mobley, maybe make a run at a Giannis Antetokounmpo? Could Kenny Atkinson's job be in danger? Might they shuffle the deck even further? I mean, they've already shown a propensity to do it, right? At the trade deadline where they go and acquire James Harden and they pick up Dennis Schroeder and Keon Ellis. Like, this is a team that has decided, hey, we weren't good enough before the deadline. We tinkered. Now, all of a sudden, if they don't get out of the second round at least and get to the Eastern Conference Finals, it would not surprise me if they tinker a little bit more.
All right, we'll leave it there as the Cavaliers get it done.
But tomorrow is all about film and recovery. It's between the ears. They're going to take a look, and the coach is going to take a look at everything, and they got to kind of boil it down. All right, let's focus on taking away X, Y, and Z. Then you walk through it the following morning, and hopefully you're ready to go and execute for Game 2.
Jerm, they missed quickly today. How would that have changed? Obviously, the rotation goes from 8 that they would play in the key minutes to 9, but there was a few points, especially when Scotty got the early foul.
Yeah, there was. And Scotty getting into early foul trouble really created, I think, a dilemma for Darko in terms of utilizing him as the primary ball handler when Shed wasn't on the floor. Having said that, I just mentioned what Immanuel Quickley brings offensively is the ability to score the basketball and help them from the three-point line. The Raptors were very good from the three-point line. They were able to score. The question is the other side of the basketball. And does Immanuel Quickley make that difference on that side of the ball? You could argue not necessarily, but I think collectively having your full roster and having your rotation intact is going to help. So you hope Immanuel can come back and help this team. But we were all kind of surprised when we saw Jamal Shed starting, because that really changes the dynamic of what you bring off the bench and how you approach the start of the game. So we'll see if that might be an adjustment that Darko might go to in Game 2 to see if he wants to consistently stay with Jamal Shed if Immanuel Quickley's not in the lineup.
Yeah, your radio show will be talking about it, the fans chatting about it before what happens on Monday night. Alvin and Matt are at Rocket Arena with their thoughts.
86 points generated through James Harden and Donovan Mitchell. Brad, and you think, Alvin, about James Harden. Well, since he's come here to Cleveland, averaging big numbers, he's done it throughout the course of his Hall of Fame career, and he got it done here. 22 points, 10 assists, and everybody for the last 17 years has talked about, hey, speed him up, do that. It's extremely difficult. This game was played at his pace.
Well, you're definitely not going to speed someone up after 17 years. And James Harden, he can do everything on the offensive side. He shoots through every type of defense. We've seen defenses of people trying to stand behind him so he couldn't do the step back and force him to go downhill and try to create fouls. Rules have been changed because of James Harden, how he generates fouls and gets to the free throw line. So he really knows how to manipulate the game. He's been doing it for 17 years. So you're not going to pick one defense that's going to shut him down. You have to switch defenses up. Others have to step in. And again, I've been saying it all night. I know I sound like a broken record. You have to attack James Harden on the other end. You can't let him relax. You can't allow him to just stay disengaged within the game. You have to seek out matchups. You have to push it at him, whether it's a post-up, whether it's isolation. You have to make him work on the other side of the floor.
During the course of the regular season, because of a left foot injury, Max Strus played all of 12 games. This is game number 13 for him. And when you have Harden delivering, you have to have somebody that's making shots around him to get 10 assists, and he was certainly key. Career high in the postseason with 24 points. You're so concerned about that three-point shot. Yes, he made 4, but his ability to put it on the deck and then also deliver on the inside. He finished 8 for 10 from the field, Alvin.
Well, that stint in the third quarter, he really exploded, knocking the shots out, scoring 8 points.
So it's all that cutting and then that ability to knock down the 3 as we send it back to Brad.
Guys, thank you very much. So Scotty Barnes wound up getting decent numbers. The first half really kind of interrupted by those 2 fouls. Not only was he sitting, I think Darko did a nice job keeping him with 2 till halftime, but hard to play aggressive in your Scotty Barnes basketball. So where do we sit when we said, is he ready for his close-up? Are you ready to say what Game 1? I think he's got another gear for Game 2.
Well, you don't want to just judge him on the one game, obviously, but I think Scotty got off to a great start. He shot the ball.